Today on The Young and the Restless, Sharon plans a surprise, Nate ends it with Victoria, and Ashley disappoints Tucker. Tucker opens the door of his suite to Ashley, who finds it early in the day for champagne. Tucker hands her a red rose and she asks if he has good news about Devin and McCall Unlimited. They toast and Ashley wants to hear all about how Devin finally came around. Tucker breaks the news that Devin has decided to go back to Chancellor Winters and doesn't want McCall. Ashley asks why they're drinking champagne. Tucker is hoping they can toast to us. He hasn't given up on becoming the man she deserves. In her office, Victoria tries to work, but is distracted by flashbacks to making out with Nate on the desk. Audra knocks and asks if it's a bad time. Victoria snaps into business mode and says she and Nate decided to greenlight an acquisition. Audra wonders exactly when they made the decision. Victoria says yesterday and informs her that she doesn't always have to know when they have a meeting. She refers to Audra always going above and beyond, and Audra assures her she's a team player. Victoria respects ambition, but she respects loyalty more. Audra says she plans to emulate Nate in that regard. Victoria narrows her eyes, meaning? Audra says Nate is really putting in the hours and working day and night to satisfy Victoria. There's no doubt where his loyalty lies. At Society, Elena is surprised when Nate joins her and announces he's taking a day off so they can spend some time together. Elena frowns and says fine, but first she wants to know why Nick confronted him last night and why he thinks he's consumed with power. Are you finally ready to tell me what's actually going on? Nate claims that Nick has never been thrilled that he took the job running Newman Media and feels he sold out his family to get there. Elena can understand that. Nate supposes Nick won't give him a chance to prove himself. Elena asks, why? What happened yesterday? Nate says Nick's emotions are running high because of Phyllis, and he may have heard something at Newman that set him off. Elena replies, like what? Nate isn't sure, but Victoria loops him in on things more than people would like. Elena realizes his access to Victoria is causing problem and says, let's talk about you and Victoria. Maria greets Sharon at Crimson Lights and tells her she's there to pick up treats and coffee on her way back from Jabat. With Diane's arrest, she's putting in a few hours. Sharon deems the whole situation terrible, but tells Maria it's okay to put herself first. Abby appears and hugs Maria. She's keen to meet Arya. Maria asks how she's doing. They haven't spoken since the divorce was filed. Abby is doing okay and relays that she has some news. Sharon listens while making coffee. Abby tells Maria that she and Dom moved into Devin's penthouse. Maria marvels, wow, and says it will take a minute to get her head wrapped around that. Abby notices Sharon doesn't seem surprised. Sharon hedges, well, Chance mentioned it. Abby knows the two of them have become friends. She's happy he has someone to talk to. Maria is in everyone's corner, but this seems fast. Abby knows, but it seems right. She explains that Chance has handled things very civilly. Maria's sure he'll do what's best for Dom. In Tucker's suite, Ashley notes that he's taking his rejection in stride. McCall admits he was really stung and hurt by Devin's decision, but he's happy for his son and Lily. He gives himself credit for giving Devin an alternative. He likes to think that inspired him to make peace. I'm proud of that, and I hope you can be proud of me too. At Society, Elena tells Nate she has concerns about his dynamic with Victoria, who has a deep-seated need for power, and he's trying to prove himself to her. Seeing Nick confront him didn't make her feel any better about whatever is going on at the office. Nate loves his job, but he's not obsessed with power. He's just trying to prove he deserves to be there. He realizes he's been a workaholic lately, and it's taken a toll. Nate explains that lines can get blurred, but I should have set some limits. He assures Elena she's his top priority and he wants to make things right between them. I missed you, he says, and you deserve better. He promises things will improve from now on. Nate kisses her cheek. In Tucker's suite, Ashley points out he didn't hold up his end of the bargain. She knows he tried, but his take on the rejection is just a little too shiny. Tucker has to respect his position. Despite my best efforts, he just doesn't trust me. I really want you to tell me that's not true for you. Ashley doesn't know how to answer that. Tucker exclaims, don't do that. He's opened his heart to her and wants to marry her and be the husband he should have been the first time. Tucker sees that she wants it but won't let herself believe it. Ashley protests, I can't. She reminds him he did really crappy, despicable things to her. He'll always have a roving eye, it's just who I am. He hid his life with Diane, he hid his life with Audra. Do you think I'm stupid, Tucker? Do you think I don't know there's a little something going on between you? Tucker says that after everything, she has to believe his love for her is true. Ashley shrugs and looks emotional. Tucker nods. Yeah, that's not enough for you, is it? At Crimson Lights, Mariah, Sharon, and Abby look at photos of Aria and the redhead gushes. When she steps out to take a call, Sharon tells Abby she's glad they have a moment alone to talk. She's hoping to throw Mariah and Tessa a baby shower and wants it to be a surprise. Abby enthuses that it's a great idea and offers up society. Just tell me when. At Newman, Nate joins Audra and Victoria in the office. He decided to come in and take care of a few things. Victoria beams. Audra asks if he looked at the audiobook proposal she sent him last night. He says he was busy. Audra purrs, of course. Once she's gone, Victoria smiles knowingly at Nate and asks what brings him into the office. In Tucker's suite, Ashley can't tell him she sees him riding off into the sunset. Tucker fumes, you choose not to. Ashley never made him any promises. Tucker muses, I suppose you didn't. I've been an absolute fool when it comes to you. I've failed at every turn. My son wants nothing to do with me, and now the woman I love does not love me in return. He accuses her of playing games and torturing him. He rants that he's done with this exercise in self-flagellation. Ashley asks, what does that mean, Tucker? Tucker is going to pick up his phone, sell his company, and leave this town. Ashley nods. Now you're threatening me. Tucker is telling her the truth and doesn't know how she can be so cold. You know what you are? A sadist. Ashley thanks him for the drink and tells him to do whatever he needs to do. With that, she leaves. Tucker crushes the rose under his foot and agonizes. At Crimson Lights, Sharon gives Mariah coffee and pastries and asks her to give Aria a kiss from her. Elena appears and says, give her a kiss from me too. Mariah leaves and Sharon tells Elena about the surprise baby shower at Society tomorrow. Elena accepts the invitation. Sharon muses about Tessa and Mariah being happier than ever. Elena muses, that's the way it should be. Sharon notices her expression and asks if everything is okay. Elena says she's fine and walks to the patio. At Newman, Victoria closes the office door and asks Nate if he was taking time off because of what happened between them. He says he needed some time to consider the situation before seeing her. Victoria isn't liking where this is going. Nate says, we made a mistake. Victoria disagrees. Nate says, all right, I made a mistake. He's in a committed relationship he values deeply and doesn't want to lose it because he loses control. Victoria asks if doesn't think it's more than that at this point. Nate rants that she's attractive, but they were being impulsive. He tells her that Nick tracked him down last night and made all sorts of accusations. He doesn't think it's the last they're going to hear from him. Tucker opens his suite door to Audra and asks, what do you want? Audra notices the red rose he stomped on and cracks that he sure knows how to make a woman feel welcome. Tucker's not in the mood for banter. Audra alludes to information falling into her lap. Tucker grunts, is that it? Audra guesses his latest attempt to woo Ashley crashed and burned. Tucker says she was right and he was wrong and shows her the door. Audra says, see you around, Tucker. Ashley runs into Abby outside of Society and asks for some mother and daughter time. Abby invites her in, where they spot Victor. He says he's taking a little time for himself after everything that's happened and invites them to sit down. We need to discuss something as a family, he declares. It turns out he wants to talk about Abby's new living arrangements. Ashley was surprised but hopes it all works out. Victor thinks Devon is in a better place now that she's moved in. Ashley adds that he's no longer pursuing McCall. Tucker told her. Audra finds Elena looking distracted on Crimson Light's patio and asks, where was your head? Elena asks if she's seen Nick lately and whether he mentioned being frustrated with Nate. She relays that she found them having a confrontation last night. Nate said it was because Nick had an issue with him since he came on board. Audra muses, but you're still coming to me looking for answers, so which part of his story are you doubting? At Newman, Victoria fumes, I told Nick this was none of his business. Nate says he accused him of using her for his own agenda. Nate can't afford a repeat performance since Elena showed up. He didn't say anything about Victoria. This time, Victoria promises that won't happen. Nate says good and wants to shut the door on this and pretend it never happened. Victoria asks, "Do you really think that's possible?" At Crimson Lights, Elena believes what Nate told her, but he also swore that work wouldn't get in the way of their relationship, and she wouldn't have to worry about Victoria. She's not sure that's the case. Audra shares that their dynamic at the office is as intense as ever. As soon as she has something else to focus on, it will be better for everybody. Elena replies, "And by something else you mean JT." Audra offers to track him down since it would be a major win by Newman Media. "I won't let you down." Elena thanks her and will touch base later. Once alone, Audra pulls out her phone and says, "Hey Han, how's my favorite rock turner?" She tells the person she needs to track someone down. The name is JT Hellstrom. At Newman, Victoria tells Nate what's happening between them is happening for a reason. The feelings aren't just going to go away if we ignore them. Nate pulls his hand away from hers and says he disagrees. Victoria respects that, but she knows he'll eventually change his mind. Nate insists he won't. She assures him it won't affect their working relationship. Nate says, "Then let's get back to business." At Society, Abby muses that Victor sure left in a hurry. Ashley says there's nothing to worry about. She wanted Devin to buy McCall so he could work with his father, but she totally understands him wanting to stay with Lily. Abby says he doesn't fully trust Tucker and she agrees with him. She alludes to setting boundaries, and Ashley assures her she gets the message and it's not an issue. Tucker opens his door to Victor. He assumes he's still interested in McCall Unlimited. Victor nods, "Yeah, I want it for Adam." McCall doesn't care what he does with it. He just wants to sell it and get out of town. Victor needles that if he throws in a few extra bucks, will Tucker stay away permanently. Tucker tells him to give him a figure and they'll have a deal. Victor shakes his hand, "Deal."